Let's start real quick with the story out of Tacoma, because the footage that came out of there is wild. And Rebecca, you got the information. What you got?
Yeah. So in Tacoma, there was drag racing where they were racing as they usually do. There was a crowd of about 100 people there to watch what was going on. Police did pull up to the scene, and they said that a lot of the people who were part of the audience of the race pulled up to the car, were banging on the window, allegedly. And so he wanted to get out of there fearing his life. So he revved up his car, backed up, saw that he wasn't able to get out. And because he feared his life, he drove through the crowd. And when he drove through the crowd, he pushed a lot of people out the way with the vehicle, running over one person who did end up going to the hospital and endured minor injuries. Thank God he isn't dead, and viewer discretion is advised as we watch this video. Thank God he isn't dead. And after this incident happened, many people went back to the same scene yesterday. Wow. Do you see that? Do you guys see that?
Jesus Christ.
There's two different angles from that video. But after this incident happened, the people that were there as the audience pulled back up to the scene, now protesting what happened. And here is where we can look. I can definitely say when I see this, I do look at that. Christ. Look how fast. Look
Jesus
how.
Christ.
Look.
And he's running over the man's body.
My God! Just watching that just now really just made me cringe. And he got away with it. Right now they are looking into it. It's an investigation going on. As of now, the police is still on the force, but there is an investigation going on.
Because he feared for his life, right? Because he feared for his life, so he ran over these people and then just kept going. Look at that, literally kept going. This reminds me of what we saw this summer at the George Floyd protests, because the police in New York did the same exact thing. And this is what these white supremacists are doing across the country. They are running people over. We saw it in Charlottesville. We saw it, I don't know if it was Kenosha, but it was recently. We saw it where they were using vehicles as an attack method. And now the police are doing the same exact thing. It's the exact same thing we saw during the George Floyd protest. And all this officer has to do to get away with it is say he feared for his life.
That's it. That's definitely it. And the specific incident that you're talking about was in New York by the New York officers who literally plowed through people. And that wasn't the only incident. We saw that all across the nation with the protests. These police officers were using their vehicles because they feared their life to run over the protesters. And at this point, it was just drag racing. This is something that they do in the area. And because the crowd was there, a police officer pulls up, and instead of calling for backup to the scene or anything like that, or just sitting in his vehicle, he said that he feared for his life and he used his vehicle to clear the way.
So the official statement from Tacoma Police Department: on the evening of January 23rd, we received numerous reports of multiple vehicles, approximately 100 people blocking the intersection of South 9th and Pacific Avenue. Our officers responded to begin clearing the intersection. During the operations, one of our vehicles was surrounded by the crowd. Christ. People hit the body of the police vehicle and his windows as the officer was stopped in the street. The officer, fearing for his safety, tried to back up, but was unable to do so because of the crowd. That's not true. Look at the video again. The officer had his lights and sirens activated while trying to exasperate himself from an unsafe position. The officer drove forward, striking one individual. And
let's drop the video.
The officer stopped at a point of safety and then called for medical aid. One person was transported to the area hospital. We have turned over the investigation to the Pierce County Force investigation team to conduct an independent investigation, and information about this incident will be available in the future. That's on their Facebook page. And then they have an update. 9 hours ago, the Community Police Advisory Board will convene for a special online meeting Monday, January 25th at 6 p.m. to discuss the use of force incident that occurred at 9th and Pacific on January 23rd, 2021. Join the Zoom meeting. This is on their Facebook page. So if you want to join that Zoom meeting, go to their Facebook page. They got the link right there. They got a passcode 27618, and you may join the meeting. Yeah,
we don't need to join. Listen, let me tell you what's going to happen. This officer will not be put on paid suspension. This officer will be fired because he ran over white people. There will be swift justice. It will happen. There will be no long investigation. The police union ain't going to say nothing. These are white people that he ran over. So, You can run over black people and get that paid vacation that cops get when they kill black people. But the fact that you took that car and white people got to see white people get hit by police cars, then you're forgetting that, hey, you're supposed to protect and serve the white folk, and that officer will be fired. I promise you.
Your lips to God ears, man. That's what I'm. But the underlying testimony of what you're saying, of course, this cop should be fired. It's a shame that the only reason he's gonna be fired is because he ran over white people. That's the shame.
Absolutely.
That's a shame. Yeah.
Because you see how quick this moved directly into. We got a special town hall meeting tonight. Damn, that was quick.
They got a town hall quicker than the mug. I am going to join that Zoom town hall. Just I'm gonna be lurking in the background, waiting for the chance to say something. So I'm gonna grab that statement that you read, Marcus, and we're gonna share it because anybody who want to show up. But I think if we show up, we might find out how swift justice is for white people in this country as compared to black people. That's what we're gonna find out.
You had brought up a good point when we were going over the stories earlier this morning. You were you actually compared it to when George Floyd, when that police officer had his knee on George Floyd's neck, and he was screaming out, just like, kill me, basically. Yeah. So in those moments, it's like these police officers, and remember the cop was saying, you were saying for them to run him over. The other officer was saying to run him over. Because now this right here just shows us that this is normal. These officers stay using their cars as weapons or anything around them as weapons, and on air, or he told the other officer, don't say that on.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So these officers literally, this is something that they do. And then they go and say, yes, this is one of those things that they put on people. And then they'll say, this is what they'll say. I feared for my life.
Right.
I feared for my life. You are in a police vehicle. You're trained for this kind of stuff.
You got guns.
And you literally will try and kill someone.
Because you fear for your life in a car. That's like me saying, I fear for my life. Like, that's like a dinosaur saying it fear for its life around me when it could just step on me. Like, this dude has the ability with that ton vehicle to just crush somebody's life. But we let these cops get away with saying they fear for their life. So they pull their gun and they shoot us, right? That's what they've been trained to say all of this time. And I completely forgot. Thank you for reminding me about that. Because if you listen to some of the audio that came out of New York during the George Floyd protests, there was a specific exchange between an officer and the dispatcher where the officer was like, let me run over them. And the dispatcher said, no, don't say that over the air. So this is not an outlier. This is a behavior pattern that we're seeing spread amongst the police across this country. And Mundell, you still spot on, man. Chances are this one will get resolved before all the other ones get resolved, because this time they ran over white people.